Hi all, today we are going to learn about the various storage allocation schemes used in program execution environment. Usually we are using three types of allocation schemes: static allocation, stack based allocation and heap based allocation. We will learn all these three schemes in detail. First, let's learn the concept of object lifetime. The period of time between the creation and the destruction of a name to object binding is called binding's lifetime. That is the time till which a binding is active. The time between the creation and destruction of an object is the object's lifetime. A binding to an object that is no longer active is called dangling reference. For example, if you are trying to access a variable which is not actively present in the program execution frame, then it is called as dangling reference. The object lifetimes generally corresponds to one of the three principal storage allocation schemes. Static objects are given an absolute address that is retained throughout the execution of the program. That is, the address is directly specified and it is particularly stored in that exact address itself. Usually it is used for global variables. Stack objects are allocated and deallocated in last in first out order, that is LIFO manner. Usually it is called using a subroutine call and return procedure. Whenever we are calling a function, a stack frame is created or an activation record is created and the variables are pushed into that particular stack frame like that. So stack objects are usually used during the execution of subroutines. Heap objects may be allocated and deallocated at arbitrary times. Next, let's see the typical program and data layout in the memory. During the execution of a particular program, the program code will be loaded from the secondary memory to the main memory, and in the code section, at the bottom of the code section, the program code will be stored. On the top of the program code, there will be static data, that is the globally declared variables or constants will be stored in this static data region. Stack and heap will be placed on the top of that. Stack grows downward and the heap grows upward. What does this upward and downward growth means? If the heap is allocated from the location 1000, then the next memory variable will be 1001 and the next will be 1002, like that will go upward. But if we are storing a data in the stack at a memory location 1000, then the next variable will be stored in 999 and the next variable will be stored in 998, like that. So the data section will grow downward in a stack and the data section will grow upward in a heap. The code section is protected from runtime modification, that is, it is only read only. We cannot write anything in the code section. All the other sections are in write mode. Next, let's learn the three allocation schemes in detail, that is static allocation, stack based allocation and heap based allocation in detail. First, let's see what is static allocation. Program code is statically allocated in most implementations of imperative languages. Statically allocated variables are usually history sensitive. That means the data and the value of the data are stored till the complete execution of a program. Example, global variables, static local variables in C function retain value even after function returns. As we all know that in C language we are using 4 different storage schemes like auto, register, static, extend, and that particular static local variables in C is usually stored in static allocation scheme. Advantage of statically allocated object is the fast access due to absolute addressing of the object. Absolute addressing means the exact location is specified in the instruction itself. So there is no need for the processor to do some sort of arithmetic to find out the memory location where the data is stored. That is the main advantage of static allocation. So the execution will be much faster. Static allocation does not work for local variables in recursive functions. So if we are using recursive functions, this static allocation will not work, as we have to create separate instance for each local variables in a recursive code. Next is stack based allocation. Stack based allocation is usually followed during the execution of a subroutine call or a function call. Whenever a function call is initiated, a stack frame will be created in the memory, and whenever we are using a subroutine call, a new stack frame will be created on the top of the previously created stack frame, and thus the stack grows upwards, and whenever we are completing the execution of the particular subroutine, the stack frame will be cleared and the control is given back to the main program. So in this program, the main program A, so a stack frame is created for A. Inside A we are calling a stack frame for B, and inside that we are calling the function cd. So cd, likewise the stack grows upwards. Remember, the memory locations will be like, if A is stored in 1000, then subroutine B will be stored in 900 or 950, something like that, because the stack grows downwards. Frame pointer usually points out to the currently executing subroutine or the currently active function. Stack pointer points to the free space on the stack, that is, it will point to the memory location which is free to store the next subroutine activation frame. The right side of this figure shows the dissection of a particular activation frame or a particular stack frame. In a particular stack frame, we will keep the information of the return address to which the control should be transferred after the execution of the particular subroutine. It will keep the local variables. It will store the temporary values and all the temporary address locations, and it will also store the arguments to the called subroutine. And it will also keep a miscellaneous book records. That means whatever activities that will take place during the execution of this particular subroutine, like the memory addresses that is used for storing local variables, what are the constant values and variables that is continuously changed, etc. All those sort of activities will be recorded in this miscellaneous bookkeeping section. During the execution of a particular subroutine, the frame pointer will be pointing to the return address of the subroutine. So after the execution of this particular subroutine, the frame pointer will give the control back to the main program and using that particular return address. Next is heap based allocation. A heap is a region of storage in which subblocks can be allocated and deallocated at arbitrary times. Usually heaps are used for dynamically allocating memory, like for implementing linked list or any other linked data structures, list, sets, or any other variable whose size will change during any update operation. Speed and space are the main design constraints of a heap. Speed is comparatively less in heap based allocation, and there will be some space issues like internal fragmentation and external fragmentation. Internal fragmentation occurs when a storage management algorithm allocates a block that is larger than required to hold a given object. This extra space will be left unused. The external fragmentation occurs when the blocks that have been assigned to active objects are scattered through the heap in such a way that the remaining unused space composed of multiple blocks are free, but we cannot use it to store a single one piece of information. Let's learn this concept with a real-time example. Consider we have a 5 GB of storage space. I am showing it as 5 hectares of 1 GB each, and we are going to store some movie files into this particular location. I have 3 movies: See You Soon movie with 0.5 GB file size, Gita Govinda movie with 1.5 GB file size, and Kilometers and Kilometers movie with 2.5 GB file size. First, I am trying to copy the See You Soon movie with 0.5 GB size to this particular memory. Here, the computer allocates the entire 1 GB space for storing this 0.5 GB movie, and the other 0.5 GB will be kept unused. So here some memory wastage will be occurring. Next, I am trying to copy the Gita Govinda movie of 1.5 GB. It is also stored, but it is stored in 2 GB space. So after 1.5 GB of storage, the 0.5 GB will be kept unused. Though it is allocated, it is kept unused. So next is Kilometers and Kilometers movie of 2.5 GB size. Though we have only stored 2 GBs of files, we have remaining 3 GBs of space, but we cannot store this 2.5 GB movie because there is only 2 GB space left, because nearly 1 GB of space are left unused due to the excessive allocation of memory. This is what is called as internal fragmentation. Next, let's see what is external fragmentation. External fragmentation usually arises when the data is stored in discrete locations in the memory. First, I am going to copy the See You Soon movie. It is stored in the first block with 0.5 GB file size, and the remaining block is kept unused itself. We can use it for storing another memory file. Next, I am going to copy the Gita Govinda movie. It is also stored in a random location with exactly 1.5 GB space. So now we have the remaining space for storing the movies are here. There is a 1.5 GB and here there is a 1.5 GB. So total we have 3 GB space free. But when I am trying to copy this 2.5 GB movie to this memory location, it is impossible because this 3 GB space are scattered. It is not a continuous block to store this particular file. A file can be stored only if there is continuous memory space available. So this is what is called as external fragmentation, wastage of memory due to the scattered storing of files or variables in a particular memory. I hope you have understand the internal fragmentation and external fragmentation concept. So these are the two storage issues that arises in heap based allocation. So these are the three different allocation schemes used in programming languages, that is static allocation, stack based allocation and heap based allocation. Thank you.